Hello Dingle, my old friend, I've come to ride in you again. 'Cause although the lockdown's passed us by, I've got an infection in my brown eye. Lockdown is over for the time being, and we're now a few weeks into being able to ride with other people again. But first it was one other person, and now it's 6. But don't you go trying to snog them, because you've got to keep 2 meters away. But the thing with being able to go out again with groups, it highlights what's probably an issue for a lot of people while we're in lockdown, and that is not really where we could ride, but the fact we couldn't ride with other people. Because the big thing of mountain biking for a lot of people is the social aspect. It's getting out and having a laugh with your friends, chatting with other people, probably that having someone else there to egg you on to do stuff that maybe you wouldn't do on your own. But now, of course, we can again. We can meet up with people, back to group rides, and isn't that brilliant? Yay! So we are allowed out again in bigger groups, 6 people. So for a lot of us, 6 people will be our regular group of riding buddies, or if you're like me, nowhere near that. So in your regular group of riding buddies that you meet up with on a regular basis, you will know what everybody's like. You'll know how good a rider they are, how fit they are, and everything else. And you'll know to an extent who the alpha male character is and who the group nerd is. So the alpha male, just to clarify that statement, is usually the person, could be persons, who are a bit better, a bit more confident and everything else than the other people in the group. I mean, they probably don't really class themselves as the alpha male, although sometimes they will do. But then at the other end of the group, you pretty much always have the group nerd. And by nerd, they're not necessarily a nerd. I mean, they sometimes are. But what I mean is, they're the person who is a bit more timid, needs a bit more encouragement to do things, probably doesn't want to, and it's through no fault of their own. I mean, not everybody can be at the same level as everything else. And your group nerd's happy enough. I mean, they might beat themselves up a little bit. Oh, I wish I could do that. Or at least they'll say that when they're with the group. And nobody ever looks down on the group nerd either. Everyone just sees them as they're happy. They are who they are. They do what they do. But when you get that group of people who've not met up before, that group dynamic, alpha male through to group nerd, is a total unknown. But it's got to be worked out in the duration of the ride. Hopefully as quick as possible. And getting out and meeting new groups, riding with people you've not met before, it can be an absolutely fantastic day, because you might meet people you can go riding with in the future. You get to chat with different people with different aspects on life and riding and everything else. Just a really good way of bonding, and if you want to throw down some high fives with some strangers, then there's nothing better. But there is a few downsides, I would say, to riding in a big group with a lot of people you don't know. And the bigger the group, the more downsides there are. So the Facebook group you're a member of has organised a group ride, and come the day, 20 people turn up. Now, in 20 people, some of them will know each other already. Quite a few may know each other from chatting in the group, and you might have an idea of what some people are like. But then again, what people say in a Facebook group about their abilities may differ from reality. So people who are pretty good may tend to be modest. People who aren't very good may tend to big themselves up a little bit. And one of the problems with group rides, and especially group rides where you don't know anybody, is that a lot of us are a bit older, and we have families and we have other commitments. So when we get out to ride, we're quite often limited in the time we can go out for. You know, gone are the days we're going out in the morning and coming back in the evening after a few beers. So as soon as you get to wherever you're meeting, the clock starts ticking. People turn up at different times. You're maybe not sure if someone is coming or not because they haven't let you know. Some plum has decided to turn up and fix their bike in the car park, and all they got is a box spanner and a flathead screwdriver. So car park faffing out of the way, and the ride sets off. There's a lot of chatting going on, and you get to the first hill, and obviously it splits. Fitter people get up the hill quicker, slow people obviously not quicker. And it's not a problem, because the fitter people who wait at the top fully expect that. They're having a chat, they're getting to know each other. Slow people probably busting a gut, but also having a chat. But the clock is ticking. So when everybody regrouped, it's time to head off for the first descent of the day. And if well planned, well thought out, the descent won't be anything too technical, because it has got to allow for the abilities of everybody in the group, or the assumed abilities. But the assumed abilities is our next stumbling block, because first descent, nobody knows how quick anybody else is, and sometimes you might guess by looking, and you know, it could be the case that the people who are slower on the climb assume somehow that the people who are quicker up the hills are going to be quicker down. So bit of a jumble, and everybody sets off down the hill. There is absolutely no way on the first or second, maybe not even the third descent, that the order of speed etc will have been sorted out. So you end up with queues, you end up with people not fully enjoying the descent because it's so stop-start. And you know, that's not a problem, it's part of being in the group, it's the social side. But when it does get to the third descent and you've got someone who it's obvious isn't that quick downhill, and they're setting off in front of you, and they know that you're quicker than them, and maybe it's just me, it does my fucking nutting, and the clock is ticking. And then the bigger the group, the more chance there is of mechanicals, punches and crashes. It's like some equation: more people equals more delays, and what could usually be a 2-hour loop quite easily become a 6-hour loop, especially if the people who get punched etc don't really have the knowledge to fix it, the tools to fix it. If it is on a climb and ascent, Sod's Law says that with a person at the back who gets the mechanical with nobody there to help him, and you can end up sat at the top, sat at the bottom, waiting for ages for him. I can remember one time in the Surrey Hills waiting 45 minutes for someone to fix a puncher. 45 fucking minutes. Anyway, I digress. And the clock is ticking. So at some point on the ride, you're going to get to a feature which is a little bit technical, a little bit fun, and everybody is going to want to have a look at it. So the alpha male types, the more confident, are going to want to show off to everybody else that they can do it, now how good they can do it. And your nerd types are going to want to have a look at it and think about doing it, and do run up after run up after run up until you can actually physically see a beard growing on your face. They're not going to do it. They were never going to do it, but they don't want the others in a group of unknowns to see you're not going to do it. And the clock is ticking. So technical feature, filming, climbs, descents out of the way. Everybody's back at the car park and they've probably had an absolutely amazing time. I mean, why wouldn't they? We're all in a big group, they've had a great ride, met new friends, blah de blah de blah, and then you get chatting again, and time obviously ticks away and people saying, should we go in the cafe and have an overpriced burger and a can of Fanta for $2.99? And sometimes you will, quite often you won't, because you've got to get back, but then you feel like you're going to be a miserable twat if you don't pay $2.99 for a Fanta. So you go in and the clock keeps ticking. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not a miserable twat. I do enjoy group rides and I really enjoy riding with new people. I think it's one of my favourite things. But if I do make it along on a group ride of unknowns, then I can guarantee you that I will have set expectations with my wife that there may be some time. So if anyone at the end of this is wondering whether they are the alpha male or the group nerd of their group, or a wet end of the alpha nerd spectrum they come, it just remains to be said that you don't get to choose yourself, other people do. It's like nicknames. If you give yourself a nickname, then your nickname should be twat face. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter whether you are alpha male, group nerd, definitely doesn't matter on a group ride, because it's not what it's about. It is about being social, having a laugh, meeting new chums, giving a socially distancing fist bump and all that palaver. And I will be out on the big fancy fun group ride. I can't wait for it. And I'm sure absolutely one of you is wondering whether there'll ever be a stop-a-doodle-doo YouTube subscribers ride. Well, probably not. Not enough subscribers, don't think there ever will be. But you never know. And if we do, I'll make up some alpha male nerd badges and hand them out to everybody.